Ubisoft recently showed off a fair amount of Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay at their Ubisoft Forward event. Looks like there's plenty to be excited about when it comes to the next instalment of the Assassin's Creed franchise, so the following are the reasons why I've added Assassin's Creed Valhalla to my watch list. And don't forget, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Assassin's Creed Valhalla content. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is set during the Viking invasion of England, and you play as Ivor, a Viking warrior looking to settle in the UK. So in Valhalla, you can select Ivor to be a male or female lead, which is a nice touch and offers up a lot of flexibility to the player. As Ivor, you lead your Viking forces across the North Sea and to the British Isles to pillage and take whatever you desire. As invading forces, you can raid settlements and towns in England with your Viking horde. England is seen as a land of opportunity and riches to the invading Viking forces, and one of the main gameplay loops in the game is raiding. So you gather up your forces, sail down the rivers of England and raid locations that you spot from your boats. Once you've taken out your enemies, you can gather resources to reinforce your own settlement. As you take on more raids, you're able to build up better tools, more services and gather more Norse settlers to grow your Viking community. At the centre of your settlement is the Alliance map, and that will be your record of alliances and act as a guide for future settlements to investigate. There's plenty of enemies to fight in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and there's a huge amount of variety too. Some will come at you one-on-one, some will use the environment, like picking up stones and rocks to throw at you. Ubisoft say this is the largest variety of enemies assembled in an Assassin's Creed game, and the gameplay looks absolutely fantastic. Enemies can work together to try and take you down, and some have lethal pets, like dogs and wolves, to add to the complications in battle. Some even pick up the bodies of their fallen friends and throw them at you. Each battle is a kind of mini puzzle, and you have to figure out what tactics suit them best. There's a range of new combat features in the game, including the harpoon, throwing axes and the new stun system that keeps enemies at a manageable distance. You can also dual wield any weapon, including 2 shields, which doesn't sound impressive but looks damn cool. There's axes and swords and daggers, long swords, bows and even hammers too. The combat looks pretty brutal to keep it as real as possible to the era of the Vikings. So as well as the brutal fighting mechanics, there's also stealth mode, so when you put your hood up in the game you can blend in with the crowds, out of the way of enemies trying to hunt you down. There's enemies with eyes all over the place, so blending into your environment is absolutely key. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has a huge amount to explore and secrets to discover. You've got forests and hills, hunting to experience as you attempt to live off the land, as well as pagan temples to investigate. As well as smaller scale raids, assaults also feature in the game, where you have to break into huge Saxon strongholds which climax in awesome looking boss battles. These large scale battles look complex and challenging and aim to be the pinnacle activity in Valhalla. Norse myths and pagan rituals also make an appearance, adding a little magic and mystery into the game. So Ubisoft showed off more gameplay than we've officially seen this past weekend in a trailer and about 30 minutes of gameplay. In the gameplay deep dive, we saw the midway point through an assault on a castle where Ivor was leading his group of Viking warriors through a series of battles which culminated in a big fight against a boss. The quests sound pretty extensive with big story beats, and the assaults look like a whole lot of fun. The objective of the assault is to take down Rued, the enemy's leader, and he's causing a whole bunch of trouble with Oswald, who's set to inherit the territory. The combat looks pretty intense but also varied too. There's a series of nice moves, including dual wielding axes, using that stun system and loads of brutal attacks. Once you get through the battles, then you're faced with a set piece where Oswald is being held prisoner by Rued. The objective here then shifts to taking on Rued one-on-one to free Oswald. The only issue though is Rued seems to have a wolf with him. Ubisoft demonstrated taking care of the wolf before getting into the main battle with Rued, and it looks like there's going to be a variety of mechanics with the boss battles. Although in the gameplay clip Ubisoft employees take on the boss quite aggressively, you can also approach the boss battles with stealth too and get in a critical hit before revealing yourself. So once you defeat your enemies, you can make meaningful choices too, which adds to the gameplay experience. For example, Oswald begs you to spare Rued so he can be tried lawfully, and these meaningful choices then feed into the gameplay, helping you shape your story. But be careful, these choices can come back to haunt you. Leading up to the assault, you need to gather friends to help you out, and to do this you're going to need to travel around and convince people to join you. And this is all down to your persuasion techniques of gathering up warriors to help you, and that's going to be crucial in the success or the failure of the assault. In the gameplay clip we see Ivor demonstrating a reason to fight by taking them on a mini raid into another town and taking it back for the people. In efforts to convince people they should fight with you, sometimes you're going to have to go off the beaten path to do some convincing, and demonstrating with force and aggression helps get that job done. So Eagle Sight makes a return of sorts in this game as Odin Vision, and it highlights areas or items that's going to help you along the way to better understand the world. There's fewer weapons in Valhalla, but the developers wanted to give you the opportunity to invest in the weapons heavily and really become a master with that weapon type. There's a skill tree that you can open up throughout your adventure through something called the Book of Knowledge, and they're spread about the world promoting exploration and discovery. So you've got different skills and abilities can be opened up, and you can lean into a specific playstyle and heavily spec into that with complementary weapons. Developing relationships throughout the game is really important, and a good example of this is with Oswald. So you may not be natural friends, but it's a mutually beneficial relationship, allowing Ivor to develop his or her settlements. One fun element of the game are the cats, so you can recruit the cats and they sit aboard your boat as you travel around the rivers. As you raid towns and settlements you can pick up stray cats, bring them back to the boat, and it's not the first thing you might think of with a vicious Viking. However, it shows a human touch and one of the nice little features that helps to develop Ivor's character. As you're exploring the areas on your boat you can bond with your crew by singing songs and telling stories. So this helps flesh out the world and you can peacefully sail down the rivers, taking in the environment and building up a good relationship with those you've recruited. As well as singing and storytelling, there's another technique to getting to building relationships, and that's called flighting. So these are a kind of mixture between poetry, performance and verbal battles between you and the townsfolk that you meet. So they're going to throw an insult at you and you're going to have to try and fight back with a witty line with the right rhythm to prove you're the best. It looks pretty fun and another element of the world building here in Valhalla.
Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Then you've clearly misheard them. My wit is immense.
Oh, you looked out with that one. Well, what a surprise. Eivor of the Raven clan is a true talent. I'm shocked.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
There's also some downtime to be found in Valhalla, and you can spend it doing much more relaxing activities rather than fighting. There's an excellent fishing mini-game where Ivor throws out a line, and the player does lose health in the world, so you do have to go out there, find food to replenish that health. Dotted around the world are offering altars where you can present gifts to your gods. You can add in scraps of food and other such items as offerings, but it allows Ubisoft to demonstrate another side of Ivor. So in the gameplay clip, Ivor makes an offering, but kids come along to steal that offering, and it shows the human side of Ivor again and allows for deeper world building and character development. Choices then again come into play, and these all add up to shaping Ivor's overall character. And finally, as you wander and explore the land you can find altars, and by interacting with them you can take on bosses with more mystical abilities. So in the gameplay clip, Ivor is poisoned by Reagan, and you're taken into a new realm in an intense boss battle. This is all part of a bigger story in the game that connects with the lore of something called the Daughters. Looks really fun and I can't wait to get in there myself. So all in all, Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks to be huge, in-depth with a lot of different play modes and styles. Ubisoft showed off more than they have done before, and it certainly looks like Valhalla is shaping up to be another excellent entry into the Assassin's Creed series. There's lots of similarities here with Odyssey, however there's some interesting new gameplay elements too, with raiding and assaults together with the dual wielding and random world bosses as well. Certainly one to look out for and definitely one to add to the watch list. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming to Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and also on November the 17th to the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. The dates for the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are yet to be announced. Well, that's it for this look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and thank you so much for watching. For more Assassin's Creed Valhalla content, hit that subscribe button down below, subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to be notified the next time I upload, then hit that bell button too. To join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out these other videos on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.
You the chance to live your own Viking saga.